Are you trying to use Node functionalities in your Electron app, only to be met with the frustrating error message that says require is not defined? You're not alone, and today we're going to solve this issue together. I totally get it. It can be incredibly annoying when you're trying to build something cool and a simple error message stops you in your tracks. This is a common hurdle for many developers working with Electron. So here's the situation. One user reached out asking how to use Node functionalities in all their HTML pages within an Electron app. They specifically mentioned the error message they encountered when trying to use require. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this. To understand this issue, we need to recognize that Electron has a specific way of handling Node.js integration. By default, the require function is not available in the renderer process, which is where your HTML pages run. But don't worry, there are ways to enable it. And stick around. I have a great example at the end that will show you exactly how to implement this in your own app. To resolve the issue with the require function not being defined, the user should first ensure that they are using the correct context for Node.js in their Electron application. This means using the right renderer process settings. Next, the user needs to modify the main process of their Electron application. This involves setting the Web Preferences option when creating the browser window. After adjusting the main process, the user should now be able to use Node.js functionalities in their HTML pages. They can include the required modules directly in their scripts. Finally, the user should test their application to ensure that the changes have resolved the issue. They can do this by running the Electron app and checking if the Node.js functions work as expected. Fun fact, did you know that Electron is built on top of Chromium and Node.js? This means you can create desktop applications using web technologies. How cool is that? Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. One user shares an alternative approach to using Node functionalities in Electron. They suggest modifying the main.js file to create a browser window with context isolation and a preload script. This method enhances security while allowing access to Node modules. In the preload.js file, they expose a function to load scripts securely. This allows the HTML page to call the load script function to require additional JavaScript files without compromising security. Finally, in the index.html file, they demonstrate how to call the load script function to include an external JavaScript file, enabling interaction with the button on the page. That's it for that response. Let's explore another one. An alternative solution from another user suggests enabling Node integration in your Electron app. They recommend adding specific flags in your main.js file to allow the require function to work in your HTML pages. That's all for that response. Let's see what someone else had to say. One alternative solution is to enable Node integration in your Electron app. This can be done by setting Node integration to true in the web preferences when creating a new browser window. It's important to note that in recent versions of Electron, Node integration is set to false by default due to breaking changes. If you want to use Node.js functionalities, you can also rename the require symbols in your HTML page to avoid conflicts with libraries. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative solution provided by another user involves using Electron's interprocess communication, or IPC. They suggest defining a preload script in your main.js file, which allows you to expose Node functionalities to your HTML pages without enabling Node integration directly. In the preload script, you can create an object that exposes functions to the renderer process. For example, the setTitle function sends a title to the main process, which can then update the application title. The user emphasizes the importance of reading the Electron documentation on IPC and context isolation for more detailed examples and best practices. Let's check out another perspective from a different user. An alternative solution from another user involves modifying your HTML document. They suggest adding a specific code snippet to your script element. This approach allows you to access Node functionalities without encountering the require is not defined error. It works fine for their application. Here's the takeaway. Always ensure that your browser window is configured correctly to use Node.js features. This small change can make a big difference in your development process. And there you have it. With these steps, you should be able to use Node functionalities in your Electron app without any issues. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button for more tips, and don't forget to check out our other videos for more insights.